A Russian infantry vehicle was spotted advancing in the Zaporizhzhia region. A Ukrainian FPV drone moved in for a strike, but the vehicle narrowly escaped. However, its advance was cut short when it hit an anti-tank mine and was destroyed. Two Russian soldiers were targeted and taken out by FPV drones from Ukraine's 414th UAV Brigade, known as the Hungarian Birds. When the soldiers noticed the drone observing them, they attempted to hide among tall grass, but this proved to be a critical mistake. The FPV drone tracked them with precision, locating the Russian soldiers and neutralizing the threat with pinpoint accuracy. Fiber optic FPV drones of Ukraine's Signum Battalion carried out strikes on Russian troop routes. Along the logistics lines, multiple Russian vehicles were disabled one after another. In most cases, the soldiers did not notice the incoming drones until it was too late. Each strike disrupted Russian movements and left their supply efforts in disarray. The persistent drone pressure continues to weaken Russian positions across the front. A Russian soldier was spotted while attempting to cross into Ukrainian positions. As he tried to climb over the border fences, the 60th Separate Mechanized Brigade launched an FPV drone strike, targeting him with precision. Ukrainian forces successfully repelled large Russian assault groups, halting their advances and causing heavy setbacks. The majority of targets for Ukrainian FPV drones were Russian infantry. Soldiers moving in groups or pairs were repeatedly engaged over the same areas. Even Russian motorcycle units became prime targets, disabled one after another by the drones. But it wasn't only the infantry. Howitzers and rocket launcher systems deployed to frontline positions were also struck, demonstrating the wide-reaching impact of Ukraine's drone operations. A Russian assault group was spotted in the Bakhmut region. As the unit attempted to advance, a kamikaze drone strike hit immediately. The first strike threw the team into disarray, disrupting their formation and slowing their advance. One of the soldiers managed to survive the initial strike and began running. By sheer luck, he evaded several subsequent drone attacks, continuing to flee toward the river. Meanwhile, the remaining Russian soldiers, taking cover under a tree, were struck by an FPV drone that delivered the decisive blow. Another Russian soldier, who survived the initial chaos, attempted to take cover under a tree but was immediately targeted by the FPV drone. Two Russian soldiers managed to flee toward the river but became trapped in the swampy waters. Unable to cross, they were struck by another FPV drone, leaving them with no way to escape. In a joint operation by the Signum Battalion and Ukraine's 3rd Assault Brigade, FPV fiber-optic drones carried out strikes on Russian logistics routes. Multiple vehicles were identified and targeted by the drones. Even though the routes were protected with signal jammers, the fiber-optic drones continued their attacks without being affected, demonstrating the precision and effectiveness of Ukraine's drone capabilities. Fiber-optic FPV drones have become a game-changer in the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Unlike conventional drones, these advanced systems are resistant to jamming and signal interference, enabling Ukrainian operators to strike targets with unmatched accuracy. A Ukrainian tank from the 64th Mechanized Brigade advanced alone toward houses where Russian sabotage and reconnaissance groups had infiltrated in Zarykhin village, Donetsk region. The tank opened fire on each of the 5 targeted houses. One by one, shells struck with precision, destroying the structures and eliminating the threat inside.
Each house fell in succession, showcasing the accuracy and firepower of Ukraine's armored units on the front line. In the Kupiansk direction, the Ukrainian Condor unit of the 1st Presidential Brigade, Burevii, took down several Russian UAVs. Using advanced anti-drone systems along with aerial strikes from their own drones, the operators successfully neutralized the threat in the skies. In the Torets direction, the Predator unit of Ukraine's National Police Brigade neutralized numerous Russian ambush-style FPV drones. Typically, this tactic was used by Ukrainian forces, deploying drones along the roads to set up concealed ambushes. However, Russia has now begun adopting the same strategy, turning their own drones into hidden traps. Russian soldiers conducting reconnaissance in the Bakhmut region were spotted. When they paused to rest, Ukrainian FPV drones intervened. The first targeted soldier was caught off guard, distracted by his phone. The FPV drone advanced toward the Russian soldier positioned under a tree. He remained unaware of its presence until the very last moment. After the initial strike, another soldier attempted to take cover under a tree. However, the drone had already identified his position. Remaining still offered no protection. A Ukrainian fiber-optic FPV drone from the Merchuki unit of the 57th Motorized Brigade entered a warehouse where Russian soldiers were taking cover. They noticed the drone but were unable to bring it down. The skilled Ukrainian pilot used rapid maneuvers to track the soldier and sustain the attack. A Russian soldier is advancing into a wooded area, closely monitored by reconnaissance drones. An FPV drone silently trails the soldier from above. Shortly after, the infantryman attempts to use dense vegetation for concealment. However, the FPV drone swiftly initiates a focused strike on the target. A powerful explosion follows, effectively neutralizing the soldier. A soldier from a specialized unit known as Predator, operating under the Ukrainian police force, was engaged in clearing opposing positions. Movement was detected within a shelter. Ukrainian personnel first deployed a grenade into the narrow entrance of the structure, resulting in a significant blast. Familiar with the internal layout, the soldiers followed up with targeted fire at the entrance, aiming to fully secure the position and eliminate any remaining threat. Thick black smoke was observed rising from the shelter. Ukrainian soldiers proceeded with extreme caution, determined to ensure the area was fully secured. In the final stage, additional munitions were placed inside the shelter to guarantee the complete neutralization of any remaining threat. This approach left no possibility for opposing forces to remain concealed within the structure. The Signum drone team, operating under the Ukrainian Armed Forces, tracked a vehicle belonging to opposing forces. It was identified as a UAZ 39094 type transport truck. The vehicle was heavily loaded, carrying both personnel inside and a full tank of fuel. The second target was the famous Russian Bohanka minibus. It had reached a checkpoint but did not leave. After the attack, the vehicle was reduced to ashes, a one-time transportation story. The third target was a speeding Niva. It tried to escape, looking fast and determined, but it was too slow for the drone's targeting system. The drone fatally cut off the speeding ticket. The final scene featured a Kamaz truck hidden deep within a dense pine forest. Interestingly, a hammock was set up right next to it. Perhaps a soldier was resting there, dreaming of escape or capture. But the Ukrainian drones had other plans. Instead of arrest, they offered him a one-way vacation ticket. No return.